Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about line of action, you guys. And this is something, how do you define that? So for artists, line of action is really about the action, the curve, the gesture of the pose that gives you a sense of oftentimes emotion, but also times direction, and kind of adds a certain force to your pose. And line of action can be really described in as different types of lines of action that can be used are a straight line of action. So that's when a pose that you're working on for a character is generally very straight to the camera. If you use a concave, you can see that's like a C curve here, and that can give you a feeling of, sorry, or you can use a C curve or a concave line, and that can give you a feeling of kind of sadness or a sagging of the body. It tends to mean that there's less energy in the pose. Or a convex is a opposite C here. That convex pose can give a certain energy or assertiveness to the pose too, and we'll get into that in a minute. And then there's the S curve. The S curve is nice for creating rhythm within a pose, and you'll see how that can be used to our advantage. But let's go and talk about some examples. So let's draw a little character here that I like to call Wiggles, Mr. Wiggles. Okay, and so Mr. Wiggles is having a bad day. So say you have a scene that you're animating with your character, and you have a design for your character, but the character is meant to be sad or deflecting in some way. So I usually start off with the round circle that represents the cranium of my character, and then I work in that in a very soft way, that concave arc that represents the body line. So you can see it works from the body all the way down. And then I work in this case, he's got a pear-shaped body. You're going to see this design is very reminiscent of a certain mouse. And then his feet here, I'll work them in kind of roughly. And I'm working in red because I like to go with red because I'll oftentimes go over it. Now he's sad, so I'm going to create a line that represents his eye line and his cranium line here that is hanging down a little bit. So I know that his head will be tipped down. And I'm going to keep his elbows in and his hands in, and that's going to give him kind of a very subdued, less energy kind of pose. Now he's kind of protecting himself. So this could be a sadness that came from maybe somebody said something mean to him, and we see the character as being concave and bending inward, but also protecting with his hands the energy of his torso. My character's got a big nose, unlike that other character. I'm just working in the eyes based on my eye line, but because he's sad, I'm going to give him some eyelids that are kind of hanging down. He's a little despondent right now, this guy. He's just having a bad day. There we go. So already you can start to see this feeling of a droopiness to his pose. His elbows are down, his hands are inward. He's got this concave overall feel to him and vibe. He's kind of bent at the knees too, so you're seeing that adds to the kind of the sagging of the pose. So now that's what I would call a concave pose here. I'm going to accentuate that with my black line here, so you can see that it's like a C shape.